Hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's been a minute, you guys, but I got a recipe for you guys today. We are making English muffins. So just to start off, we are going to get our bowl and we're going to put in our whole grain flour unbleached. We don't want to use any bleached flour. I'm being so careful when it comes to certain ingredients and just changing things that's way more healthier inside the kitchen. I'm going to go ahead and put in yeast, salt, 2 teaspoons of salt, and I'm gonna go ahead and put my sugar. I use coconut sugar. You can use what you would like. Coconut sugar is a bit more healthy, and it's low glycemic. So we're just gonna mix that around and we're gonna go ahead and add in our mixture. This is butter and milk in this mixture, and also water is in the mixture. So I'm gonna put this in increments. I'm not gonna just pour everything in because we don't want to mess. So just little by little I'm adding in the liquids, and I'm using a spatula to make things easier for me. I like to mix it with a spatula until I have to use my hands. So we're just gonna keep on putting the increments, and then we're gonna finally use our hands. I did put very little flour. Again, that's not in the recipe, just a little bit just to get the ball mixed up. So you don't want to put too much flour. If you see the dough is not coming together as yet, it will come together. Just trust the process. I put very little, as I said. I am using my palm just to get it all together, and this is the dough. I told you it was going to come together. So trust the process, you guys. Trust the process. Now look at you. You got the ball all together. You didn't use too much flour because you don't want a tough bread. You guys, this is it for now. We're just going to let this rest. We're going to put very little of oil. I use avocado oil so it won't get dry or scaly on top. And I'm going to go ahead and put some plastic. And now we're just going to let our dough rest and let it do its own thing. Now our dough has risen a bit, but we're gonna do our folds. It is not done just yet. We're gonna fold our dough on each side. It's a folding process, and we're just gonna go ahead and leave it again and let the dough develop gluten. I put a little bit of oil just so it can be nice and, soft and moist. You don't have to, that's completely optional. So just fold it on the left side, right side, on the side, and the other side. I know there's a lot of sides we gotta fold it in. Simple, you guys, and we just let it do its thing. We're gonna leave that for about an hour and a half, and now our dough is ready. This is the fun part because now we're gonna get to punch this dough. So if you got any issues going on right now, or someone's just irritating you, it's so fun just punching this to get all the air out. So after I punch my dough and get the air out, I'm gonna continue to knead my dough because there's still more air in it, and we don't want bubbles with our bread. So you're just gonna knead it out. I use like this bread scraper for this part, and we're just gonna form it into balls. We just cut it out. I'm not using any scales to just get anything, uniform. So I'm just doing it by sight, just judging the dough and how it feels in my hand. And we're just going to use the friction of the dough, and we're just going to make a round circle with the counter. So we're using we're going to use I got the word. We're going to use the friction of the table or the counter to form our dough. And it's very simple, you guys. It takes a little practice, but you will get a hang of it. Just remember, like I'm doing right here, I was pinching the dough inside on the bottom part, or you can just go ahead and use the table as I said. So now I don't have it recorded, but I use cornmeal on a pan, and I place the English muffin dough on the pan, and I'm just going ahead and putting it on top of the dough so it's on both sides, and we're gonna let that rise. Actually, for 24 hours we're gonna leave it in the fridge, and in the morning it's gonna look just like this. We're gonna let it sit out for about 2 hours. You don't want it to be cold. You just want it to be right in the menu of like lukewarm, or it doesn't have to be warm, but you don't want it to be really cold neither. Now we're just gonna go ahead and get a pan, and we're going to put our English muffins on the pan, and we don't need any butter, we don't need anything. We're just gonna do it dry like this. My pan fit about 4 English muffins on it, and you're just gonna let it do its thing. What you're really looking for is for both sides to get a little brownish. We're also gonna bake this as well, so I don't want you to worry too much about the inside because it's gonna bake for like another 10 minutes. So now we're gonna put it in the oven. I put it on 350 Fahrenheit and I put a timer for about 10 minutes and the English muffin is done. Done. This is my first time doing this technique. I did a different type of technique before that, you know, there's butter I'll put on and then I'll put the English muffins, and it's a different process. I really enjoy this technique. It was easy. I didn't have to use any butter on my skillet for this recipe, and compared to my other recipe I used, this one came out the fluffiest and I absolutely enjoyed it. The flavor was great. It almost tastes like a sourdough a bit. So now I'm just gonna cut it for you guys to see. It's so fluffy, you guys. It's so good. My son wanted to eat two of them, but I was like, no, we're not gonna do that. One is good for you. And we're gonna put some butter on here. It was so phenomenal. It was definitely worth the wait. Yes, it's a process when it comes to the time and how long you wait for your gluten to develop and the flavor profile, but it's so worth it, you guys. Go ahead and make this. Thanks for watching.